Hello, my name is Hershey Rajaram, and I'm getting on here to make a video and ask for help from the public. So please share this as much as possible because I need the help. The situation at hand is that last year in 2023, I filed and won a HUD case against my current apartment complex that I now believe they are asking me to not renew my lease out of retaliation, and I have to be out of here now within 56 days. I have to be out no later than October 7th. I am going to be sharing things from emails as well as photos in regarding the situation. I do need to try to keep it probably under 45 minutes because I've tried to record this video and it just didn't go very well. So I'm just going to kind of run things down and give you guys a rundown of what's going on. So back in 2016 when I moved into my apartments, I didn't realize how steep the ramp outside of my apartments really was until the first winter. And that first winter, I actually ended up falling when the ramp was very icy. It's kind of slanted and it's like short, if that makes sense. So here's the ramp. So, and if you see, it's not very long, and towards the bottom there's like a dip. So anytime that it like rains and it collects ice and then it like freezes over, it makes it really icy. And as you can see, there's no other railing on the other side in case of somebody falling, which, like I said, I've already fallen. I fell back in 2016. So with that being said, the following year, I had reached out in 2017, and I called the front office and I had asked them, I said, is it okay if I go ahead and I put down a walkway, like using rock salt from my patio to the parking lot because the ramp is too steep. And I was given the okay with the stipulation that I understood that maintenance would not be shoveling me out in between the cars because it's a liability issue. They don't want to cause any damage or anything like that. And I understood. As well as, like, I didn't think I was going to need anything else. I wasn't required to get any sort of medical documentation. I didn't need to get any sort of other special approval. I wasn't made to have anything in writing. I will say that, and there's this one photo. This was taken March of 2019. So when I laid down the rock salt, as you can see, it made a visible change in the grass, which that's what happens when you put rock salt on grass. It kills the grass. So it was a visible change to the landscape. I've never been written up by my apartments for that change. I was never, told anything bad, anything like that. It was just always the apartments knew about it. From that point forth that I got permission. Okay, nobody ever had a problem with me going in between the cars, including any of my neighbors. I never damaged any property, anything like that. And if I ever thought, hey, I couldn't get through with a trash bag, I would just ask somebody if they could help me out. Everything was fine, okay, until about May 18th. And this came from my neighbor downstairs. Okay, he is in the Army Reserves. This is Mr. Miller. And one day he had said to me, after I had said to him, I said, hey, can you please move your car over because you're parked over the line and I can't get through when your wife parks on the other side of you. Okay, this was May 14th, 23, as you can see on the photo. And I said, exactly. I said, hey, do you think you could please move the car over a couple inches so that my walker can fit through between? I got stuck the other day. LOL. And he was like, I'll try, but I do that so people don't keep dinging my door, so I figured there was enough space for you on the other side. Now, the other side that he's talking about would be where the black car is. Okay? Where the black car is if you go up that space, there's actually a tree stump and a root system, so it makes the ground uneven, which is why I put the path towards the second spot, because the ground is more even there. And it avoids some tree roots that hug that path. And, I let him know, thanks for, moving the car over, because he came out, and I said, do you want me to test it out with my car to make sure I can get through? And he kind of gave me some attitude about it, and I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I was just going to let it go. And then 4 days later, I get another text message from Mr. Miller saying, hey, I think you should contact the office to get a proper ramp built and a walkway through the cars painted on the ground. I have to park to the left of the parking spot so I can pull his wheelchair, and people park right on the line next to me. I'm not sure if the scratches are from you squeezing through the usual I'm not sure if the scratches are from you squeezing through or the usual people swinging their doors open and scratching the sides. So at this point, I was pretty upset that he was basically accusing me of causing potential damage to his car, because I wouldn't do that. I've never done that previously, and I wouldn't start. His spouse actually is partially disabled, but not disabled enough to where she can't live on the bottom floor, which is separated by a flight of stairs. She's still able to drive, and she has been seen going up and down steep hills within this apartment community without any issues. I'm not able to do any of those things. But here it is, a second text message. Then he wants to bring his wife's disability into it, along with accusing me of potentially scratching his car. So at that point, that is what ensued the communication between me and the property manager here, Galen Blood. Now, I will say from the very beginning of talking with her about this, it has just been one heck of a roller coaster of just getting nowhere. Initially, I had spoken to her over the phone about an email I wrote saying, hey, I'd like to see about getting something put in, or I guess request some sort of situation here, because I can't get through, and I had requested a parking spot. Now, when she called me, we spoke about where the parking spot would be, and I said I think it would be best if I had the second parking space, because that's 3/4 of the dirt path goes into that spot. And if I go any further to the other side, then it runs into a tree root system, and it runs into a tree stump, and the ground is uneven. It would have to be leveled out. And initially she had said okay, and then all of a sudden when I went out there to check it out and confirmed it, she had said, oh, well, I just realized that spot belongs to Mr. Miller in apartment B. And so I'm like thinking to myself, okay, but there's nothing in writing on that handicap parking pole saying that it belongs to that apartment. And per the lease, it says that things need to be in writing, like there needs to be some sort of indicator. And so we went back and forth, and basically it started to escalate from there, with her just saying, that I wasn't needing them in the middle, and that she tried to accuse me of trying to need 2 parking spaces, which I'm sitting there thinking to myself, to be honest with you, I don't drive. So I never thought in the beginning, years ago, that it was ever going to be an issue. This is 4.5 years, basically, before this was an issue. And it was 1.5 years after the Millers moved in that they made it an issue. It wasn't an issue initially. And so the communication between Galen and I started to escalate to where she started saying that things like, if you and apartment B, the Millers, are come to an agreement that they're willing to give that spot up for you to have that spot, then go ahead and have them put that in writing to us. That was said to me on 2 separate occasions. I even wrote the vice president of the company, Mr. Brendan Catherman, and letting him know the situation, so he was made aware that, hey, you guys are willing to honor this agreement, but I have to submit things to this tenant in writing. That doesn't make any sense to me at all, especially when it's not properly assigned. And so, outside of that, I went forth and I'm like, something isn't right here. So I had to get the vice president involved, because Galen was also saying that, if you have a problem with the root system that's, in the way of you installing that walkway, then that's your financial responsibility to have to take care of. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, that's not right either. I shouldn't have to pay for the apartment's landscaping to be dealt with, which that's when I realized that's why they were so stuck on me having that particular third spot, instead of just saying to the Millers, when he was initially parked in that third spot when I told him to move anyway, hey, this dirt path was already laid here before you got here, and you need to go ahead and just, stay in the third spot. We'll give the second spot to Miss Rajaram, and all will be well. No. It turned into, I think, I want to say 1 to 2 emails where I was being told that the root system removal and the landscape was basically my deal to get the pathway put in. Okay? Now keep in mind, where is it? This whole time, what I was basically going for, as far as the landscape, here it is. I had requested, so on the top, that is a building that's a few buildings down. I had requested basically that same modification in front of my patio, except the difference for me is that the landscape is uneven because it's tree root and I'm on the top of a hill. And so that's where it became an issue. And when I emailed Mr. Catherman because of it, within 37 minutes of sending him that email, letting him know of the issues I was having with Galen regarding that, I got an email from Galen saying that they were going to remove the root system. It was just going to take a couple of days. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, okay. And then 6 days after that, I get a really nasty passive-aggressive email from Hope Bauer, basically very demeaning towards me, poking fun at my limited income, basically saying, if the cost of installing the walk is still too prohibitive for you, comments like that, and then she went on to say, Galen might have information to a company that might be able to assist you. Well, Galen had offered that to me initially when we spoke over the phone, but never gave it to me. And now you're bringing it up again. And I started feeling like these things were really intentional to make me look to be a certain way when I wasn't acting any sort of way. She also went on to say, if you would like to park your car in one of the first 2 spaces, if they are empty, that is fine. If so, we remove the apartment number from the sign at the third spot and make that a first come, first served spot. So, first off, the apartments have always known that I've never driven a car because I have to get medically cleared, which I never was able to do. So there she is poking fun. If you want to park your car there, you've never had information for me having a vehicle on file. So why would you ever say anything like that? And it just got to be really bad. Like this back and forth of like, oh, we'll honor it if you submit to the Millers and get certain things in writing from them, but you won't just go ahead and honor it with everything that I've already pointed out to you. It just got to be like really, really weird. There was also a situation, and I'm kind of jumping around at this point because I'm trying to keep everything within the 45 minutes and there's a lot to go over, so I might go back and forth. There was also a situation with the pet deposit fee, which is also part of the HUD case, where it was in the lease, and I had gotten my pug certified for an emotional support animal as of April 30th, 2021, officially by my previous doctor. So I had that notice. In July of 2023, I believe on the 13th, I sent that information over, and I said, you should have this on file, but if you don't, please credit me back the $300 pet deposit fee, because in the lease it states, let's see, when allowed by applicable laws, before we authorize an assistance animal, if the disability is not readily apparent, we may require a written statement from a qualified professional qualifying the disability related need for the assistance animal, which I did. And then it says animal deposits, additional rents, fees, or other charges will not be required for an assistance animal needed due to disability, including an emotional support or service animal, as authorized under federal, state, or local law. So that right there, that was in the lease. They constantly throw the lease back in people's faces, and I was told, that those fees were associated with your pet when you moved in, and they are non-refundable. So first they tried to get me for the landscaping, then, they didn't. Then they tried to get me for the pet deposit fee. I had to go through HUD to get that back. Then on top of that, there was also the issue with, what was it they tried to get me for? Yeah, so there was also another issue of them trying to take money from me when I was going through the HUD case, okay? There was a lot of back and forth with Galen about situations regarding the parking space and stuff like that, and I honestly don't feel like she was being honest with the HUD representative about everything that was going on, because the HUD case, I believe I was first notified about it around October 10th from the HUD representative, and the HUD representative had mentioned that there was a lot of going back and forth with the parking space, and the HUD representative wasn't sure why that was like really an issue. Well, what I realized Galen hadn't been telling the HUD representative is at the time that this was all going down, the person that used to park in the first spot that apartment B initially wanted, the closest spot you can get to the building, had actually moved out. She was evicted. So here I am thinking to myself, why is this still a thing? Apartment A, across from apartment B, has already been evicted. Why aren't you saying anything about that? And it just got to the point from the HUD representative, he's like, we might need to verify with a medical professional why you even need the second spot, why it's, like an issue. And the most we could probably do for you is get back the pet fee. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, okay, whatever. So finally, after some back and forth, I let him know. I was like, I don't even know why you're going back and forth with her when she knows that apartment A had moved out. So there's no reason for it. And when apartment A moved out, apartment B, the Millers, had started parking in that spot. And I thought, hey, everything is resolved. And then shortly after, I started noticing after Galen had notified me about the HUD complaint, them being notified, that they started moving back into the second spot. Almost as if Galen had told them, hey, just go back and move to the second spot. That's what we gave you, move back to the second spot. Like, they're trying to keep the animosity going when there doesn't need to be any. So Galen went as far as to basically tell me, now this was exactly a month after apartment A had been evicted, we are not changing our stance on which handicap space you are able to occupy at any given time, but we will refund you your pet security deposit upon the notification of withdrawal of your HUD complaint. If not, we are prepared to engage and justify with HUD. We are prepared to engage with HUD and will justify decisions related to both the parking space and the pet deposit. This was exactly October 11th, 2023. Apartment A was evicted September 11th, 2023. And you're seriously going to sit there and threaten me? There's no need for that. You're literally withholding certain information to make me look some type of way. Okay? And now, mind you, she mentioned pet security deposit in the email. Okay, right there. That was October 11th, 2023. Okay? When the HUD case finally wrapped up and, finally came to an agreement, because I told the HUD representative all of that information, and finally he was like, oh, well, now they want to settle. Of course they want to settle, because now they've been found out. And they know that I know. Like, I'm not stupid. So I ended up getting the second parking space assigned to me, and I ended up getting my pet fee back. Well, Galen Blood emailed me back, and it says, per the HUD agreement, we have refunded your security deposit. And I'm like, no, that has no bearing on the HUD agreement whatsoever. It says the security deposit had been credited per the HUD agreement, not the pet deposit. Now, keep in mind, this was 27 days after the HUD agreement had closed out, basically. So the security deposit and the pet deposit are two different things in the lease. Okay? The security deposit is $1,510 that I paid. Pet deposit was $300. It even states that differently in the lease for both charges. So that right there, okay? So let's recap. So she tried to get me for the landscaping, then tried to do the pet fee, and then they also tried to do the security deposit. So that's basically my apartment's admitting right there, right off the top, before I even move out, they've already got the security deposit in the bank, for them. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, this is absolutely ridiculous. I'm not sure what to do. As well as the whole thing with the landscaping. Let me just be honest. The root system has not been removed. As a matter of fact, I have photos from both before the 60-day notice and after the 60-day notice. The root system, Galen, has not been removed. I don't know why you think to have told and drug my name through the mud to Hope Bauer, but it has not been removed. Okay? As a matter of fact, a couple weeks ago, the wires that hold down the grass seed to grow the grass from that root system got stuck on my shoe. And I nearly fell, and I had to get a new pair of shoes. It's still out there. The root system is still out there. The root system is still out there. Like, I don't know. I don't know what your deal is with trying to get things over on me. I really don't. I'm going to continue to read a couple things because I think this is going to be really important, especially this coming up here. Okay, I'm just going to read this. What is this? Okay, so this is an email from April 21st, 2019. Hey, I'm writing to request having someone put in a removable paver walkway to give me an even access straight into my apartment. I have a professional guy from Bailey Landscaping by the name of Levi Bailey who's willing to do work of install and removal. There's already one apartment that has this as well on my street, and I wanted to have it done to mine too, which is the walkway I showed you before. I got a response. This is April 22nd, 2019. Hey, I forwarded your request to my upper management and will reach out to you and let you know the outcome. If you let me know the building that already has this done to it, I would like to get a photo because upon receiving your request, I realized our building already has a ramp on it, and not all buildings do, so there's a chance the accommodation won't be accommodated because there is already an exit for you there. Never hurts to try, though. And I went to reiterate. I was like, what building it was, and I said, when it rains or gets icy, it's still an issue for me to be able to use that ramp. So then this is April 23rd, 2019. Good morning. I wanted to let you know we have reviewed your modification request, and in order for us to allow these modifications, we will need Levi to write up the plans on what he will be doing to temporarily install and how to remove the pavers. His insurance will need to be provided to us with the apartment gallery listed as an additional interest as well. Please do not proceed with the work until these items have been received by our office. Please let Levi know he is welcome to contact us as well if he has any questions on what we need. This was from, let's see, Brooke Kibler, the former assistant property manager of the apartment gallery at my apartments. This is 4.5 years prior. 4.5 years prior. Let me read you something else. This is the clause 34 in the lease. No authority to amend unless in writing. Our representatives, including management, personnel, employees, and agents, have no authority to waive, amend, or terminate this lease contract or any part of it unless in writing, and no authority to make promises, representations, or agreements that impose security duties or other obligations on us or our representatives unless in writing. I did everything that I was asked to do. The pet deposit fee, I got that in writing. This pathway request that you guys want to act like, oh, I just tried to come out of nowhere and take something from somebody, I got that in writing 4.5 years prior to it ever being an issue with the Millers. 4.5 years prior. Everything that I've been told to do, I've got it in writing. I have the receipts. But yet I'm being attacked. What is it? Like, I don't understand, Galen. Is there something about me you don't like? Is it my skin color? Is it my disability? Is it my preference for other things you don't like? What is it? I mean, I have countless other things in a massive email, like I said, this big, of other times you have tried to squeeze some sort of financials out of me. And you've dragged my name through the mud. You could have told the HUD representative the entire time, hey, this is what's going on. Sorry we messed up. Let's go ahead and fix it and move forward. No. You're out here doing, I don't know what. But you need to quit. You need to quit. And you need to start being honest. The way that Hope Bauer was talking to me, the way that you talked to me, the way that, I have proof of you literally trying to get me to be in harm's way. There was another incident where there was other tenants that had kids that were doing things that they shouldn't have been doing, like trying to get into cars and break windows with rocks and stuff like that. I wasn't the only one to witness it. And I went to basically say something, and Galen was like, did you call the cops? Did you see the cops go, and speak to the parents? And, what did they say? That's not my business. I don't need to be going upstairs to be finding that out. I've told you, when I try to confront people or I've been confronted, like, I'm all about it, but if I feel uncomfortable, don't be putting me in that situation. Girl, I can't even put my hands up to say don't shoot if I needed to. You know this. You've been dragging my name through the mud. You've been dragging everything about me all over the place for no reason. And then get this. Get this, everybody. Here's my 60-day non-renewal notice. I regret to inform you that we are exercising our right to non-renew your lease agreement. This letter serves as your 60-day notice to quit. The notice is irrevocable. You are responsible for all rent and utilities through the end of your lease term. All keys should be returned to the leasing office upon vacating on or before October 7th, 2024, which will complete your current lease with us. Why? I didn't do anything to you. And this is exactly why so many people don't want to work here. So many maintenance people have quit. You can't get people to stay here. And now I see why. And I have absolutely no reason to be targeted like this. This whole back and forth of you saying, oh, if you get this in writing, we'll do this. Oh, we'll do this. But I have to submit that to a neighbor? No. Why? Like, what is it about you that feels good to be like, oh, I really told that crippled girl, she's got a dog, no family, or close friends that she can rely on. I don't have any of that. It's just me and my dog. I have, like, scarce help here and there, but I don't have anybody whose basement I can go live in. I'm on SSDI. Unlike the Millers here, that at some point his wife admitted to me that, he's got money from the Army Reserves, a job. She had a job, and she's got Social Security disability. Girl, let me tell you, Miss Miller, if you get caught and you are scamming the system, that's not good for you. I'm over here, and I make just over $1,600 monthly. And my rent it's over $1,100. I'm grateful and I'm blessed for what the Lord gives, but man, I'm in the same economy as anybody else right now. And this is happening, and there's no reason for it. I did everything I needed to do. And even after the HUD complaint and everything was finalized, you still didn't want to enforce anything. You didn't want to enforce it. And when I called you out on it, you started not responding to me, Galen. And I don't know why. I don't know why you would lie to Hope Bauer and say that the root system was removed so that she can come back and say, as you know, are you trying to say that I'm retarded? Because I've had other people go out there and they're like, no, the root system is still here. I've actually tripped on it myself. Neither one of you came out here to verify with your own eyes that it was actually removed. And so by all legal technicality, it hasn't been. And I have been targeted for no reason at all. And now I've got, 56 days left to figure out where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do. And let me tell you, I've been trying to find a way out of this place for a while. When a few years ago as things started going downhill. I've been trying. From y'all trying to get other tenants, including myself, for maintenance things and stuff, and which I still have other receipts for as well, that aren't our responsibility, to doing all this other stuff that you're doing to me. That's not okay. You know, the housing crisis and people being on wait lists, it's not, oh, just reach out here, they'll find you somewhere to go. No. There's no reason for it. I'm not late on my rent. At most, I was late a couple of times, and that was not of any fault of my own. I'm currently in recovery for something that some of you may know, some of you may not. And that's why I'm on SSDI right now. I don't look for the loopholes. I don't lead with, oh, I have a disability, so let me look for the loopholes. I lead with the things that say who I am. Not, this is what I have, take pity on me. I've never been that way, and I'm not going to start now. And I'm not going to sit here and continue to be made out to be a villain when I'm not. You're taking advantage of me in the worst way possible. Is that your flex, to be like, I told that girl that's on disability and has absolutely nothing that, oh, right before it slows down and gets cold in the winter, around her first season in fall, she's going to have nowhere to go? Is that your flex? Does that make you feel good about yourself, Galen? Or Hope Bauer? Brendan Catherman? I don't know who watches this. I don't know what you guys are doing, but you need to quit. I mean, you really need to quit. This is not okay. I have proof of all this stuff. Like I said, I have video. I have photos, so if you want to come out here and try to cover your butts, go ahead. It's not going to work very well. There's absolutely no reason for this. Trying to get me for the landscape, trying to keep the pet deposit, and then after the HUD case is finalized, you try to be sneaky and say you gave me back my security deposit when you know darn well that you didn't? No. There's too many things that can no longer be labeled a coincidence. As well as I followed what it said in the agreement, where it said that things needed to be in writing. But yet you're not making the Millers do any of that. But I'm being made to do that. When y'all were aware of that situation 4.5 years prior. So y'all had notice. At this point, I don't know what else to say. I will say this. I want to give a shout out to Levi and Kristen Bailey of Bailey Landscaping. Because let me tell you something. That Easter in 2019, when you guys invited me to Easter dinner, and you had said, Kristen, you had said, after talking to me about the path and, why it was there, and I told you that you believed God had put it on your hearts to be good to me in that way, to have Levi put in a path so it would make it a lot easier for me. And Levi backed you up. You said God put it on your hearts to be good to me in that way. And that's where I think you guys messed up. It wasn't the fact, you didn't give me your word. You gave me God's word out of your mouth. And you never followed through. So ever since then, I've kind of wondered if God changed his mind about me. And that's hard, because it wasn't just you gave me your word and I took it, but you gave me your word, and then Levi, you started acting like you were going to follow through and got the apartments involved. So I'm sitting here thinking, hey, that's professional stuff. I can't get involved in that. And then you just never followed through. And now here we are so many years later. And had you put those pavers down, the Millers wouldn't have had anything to meddle with or to, plant seed. But you didn't do that. And now it's caused me a big issue. And I don't know what to do. I'm not upset at you. I want you to understand that misanointing and over-anointing yourself and using the name of the Lord to speak on the Lord's behalf when you have no intentions on following through, and you don't follow through, especially when other people are involved, that's not good. And a few weeks after all that went down, you started your one-on-one discipleship. And so, yeah, I feel a little salty. And people need to start holding themselves accountable. You want to go believe in Jesus? You want to go believe in God? I do. I do, wholeheartedly. But I'm not out here joining the circus of the rigmarole and making it a deal to do all these discipleships and missions trips. But on the back end, I'm doing other things I shouldn't be doing that now have severe consequences for somebody. So I just want to put that out there. I'm not mad at you, but I needed to say my piece on that. And in closing of this video, I want to give a shout out to a couple people maybe that can help me out and put this on blast. And one of those people I want to give a shout out to is on YouTube, Indisputable. Dude, I watch your stuff, man. Good stuff. And as you say in your little opening, you know, with millions watching and many people benefiting from this, you know, put this up for the mass, man. Just help me out a little bit. I could really use the help. I appreciate it. I kind of was a little scatterbrained with this video. I understand that, but this is the third time I'm trying to record it. So I could really use the exposure. I've tried to go to other news outlets. I've tried to go to through other legal avenues, and it's just not working. So if you could just put this story up and get it out there, I'd greatly appreciate it. Another person I'd like to give a shout out to is JD Delay. Dude, you always talk on your channel about people getting picked on that are disabled and stuff like that and how it's not cool. And I'm one of those people getting picked on. So, you know, if you can just kind of come through with some help, I don't know, exposure as well. Whatever you can do, man. I know you've sometimes helped people with some legal help, and like I said, that's something I need help with as well. I need a darn good legal team, guys, to help me fight this. I know I do. Cat Williams, I want to thank you for your, not only your comedic genius, but I want to thank you for your outlook and your mental, I don't know, just your mental knowings, internal knowings in life, you know, about things. You had said something on Club Shay Shay, the truth don't need motivation, and that is 100% true. Initially, I was going to do this video, and I was going to be very, very forceful with a lot of things, and I realized I didn't need to be, because I'm telling the truth. I got the receipts, I got the photos, there's a lot more. I just had to be quick about this. So it'll upload. But thank you for that, because it spoke to my spirit in a way that I needed. So I appreciate it. And the last shout out I want to give to is to RJ Mitty. From one person with cerebral palsy to another, I know you advocate against bullying, and I could really use your help. I could really use that help. I could use somebody fighting for me as well. I feel like I've done all I could to try and get the word out. I'm good at putting these sorts of things together. I'm good at doing videos. I'm good at writing things. I'm good at that part. What I need help with at this point from other people is to really just get the word out. And if you can, put this on social media platforms, tag people. That's the part where I kind of mess with Facebook, kind of don't, and don't really do that part. So if y'all could just help me out, I'd greatly appreciate it. Like I said, I don't have a lot of time. I'm very sleep deprived. I'm very, very anxious, very nervous. I'm just overall upset. Like, how did I get here? I'm hurt. And I just need some help. And so, you know, I really hope and pray that this does some good. And something good comes out of it, because I choose to believe that God didn't change his mind about me. That's what I'm choosing to believe. And I'm calling on the masses here to show me that and to rally up around me, and to just show me some humanity. I greatly appreciate it. I want to wrap up this video and just say thank you. I don't want it to be too long. But thank you for your time. I will include a specific email just for this purpose in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Please be respectful. Any non-respectful responses will get deleted or ignored. I just don't have any time for any hatred. I need love right now. I need to just see that I'm cared for. So please share this as much as possible. Like I said, as of now, August 12th, 2024, I have 56 days to figure something out. So just please, whether it's law firms, apartments, things like that, just please. I appreciate it, and thank you very much.